Hi guys, thank you for tuning again and good day everyone. Today we will be talking about the No Child Left Behind Act. And in these lessons, you will be able to know what is the No Child Left Behind and found out the disadvantages and advantages of this act. In 2002, the Elementary and Secondary Education Act was updated to No Child Left Behind Act. President George W. Bush signed the act into law at a high school in Ohio on January 8, 2002. The goal of this Education Act was to develop schools' assessments of basic skills. If school did so, and they would receive federal funding. If they did not, then the federal funding went away. If you will ask, what is the No Child Left Behind Act? The No Child Left Behind Act, or NCLP, is the federal law that provides money for extra educational assistance for poor children in return for improvements in their academic progress. It was a U.S. Act of Congress that reauthorized the Elementary and Secondary Education Act. It included the Title I provision applying disadvantaged students. It supported standard-based education, return-based, on the premise that setting high standards and establishment measurable goals could improve individual outcome in education. The Act required states to develop assessments in basic skills. To receive federal school funding, states had to give these assessments to all students at select grade levels. The Act required states to assert a national achievement standard. Each state developed its own standard. NCLB expanded the federal rule in public elementary through further emphasis on annual testing, annual academic progress report cards, and teacher qualification, as well as significant changes in funding. The Act, or the No Child Left Behind, was the main law for K-12 general education in the United States from 2002 to 2015. The law held schools accountable for how kids learn and achieved. The law was controversial in part because of finalized schools that didn't show improvement. The No Child Left Behind Act of 2001, or NCLB, was in effect from 2002 to 2015. It was a version of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, or ESEA, and NCLB was replaced by the Every Student Assessment Act in 2015. So this act didn't stay longer in the law or in the education. It was replaced into Every Student Succeed, or ESSA, or that's it, ESSA. The legislative history of this act was co-authorized by Representatives John Buckner and George Miller and Senators Ted Kennedy. That's it. Okay. We will talk about provision of this act. The No Child Left Behind requires all public schools receiving federal funding to administer a statewide standardized test annually to all students. Schools that receive Title I funding through the Elementary and Secondary Education Act of 1965 must make adequate yearly progress, or AYAP, in test scores and example. Each year, 5th grades must do better on standardized tests than the previous year, or 5th graders. If the school's results are repeatedly poor, then steps are taken to improve the schools. First, schools that missed AYAP for a second consecutive year are publicly labeled as in need of improvement and must develop a 2-year improvement plan for the subject that the school is not teaching well. Students have the option to transfer to a better school with a school district if any exists. So that is the first. If the school mess up any of the assessment or didn't follow the act. Second, missing AYAP in the third year forces the school to other fee funding and other supplement education service to students who are struggling. And if a school misses its AYAP target for a 4th consecutive years, the school is labeled as requiring or corrective action, which might involve wholesale replacement of staffs, introduction of a new curriculum, or extending the amount of time students spend in class. Last, a 5th year of failure results in planning to restructure the entire school. The plan is implemented if the school unsuccessfully hits its AYAP targets for the 6th consecutive years. Common options include closing the school, turning the school into a charter school, hiring a private company to run the school, or asking the State Office of Education to run the school directly. State must create AYAP objectives consistent with the following requirements of the law. State must develop AYAP statewide measurable objectives for improvement, achievement by all students and for specific groups: economically disadvantaged students, students with disabilities, and students with limited English proficiency. Second, the objectives must be set with the goal of having all students at the proficient level or above within 12 years. Third, AYAP must be primarily based on state assessments, must be also include one additional academic indicator. Fourth, the AYAP objectives must be assessed at the school level. Schools that fail to meet their AYAP objectives for 2 consecutive years are identified for improvement. Fifth, schools' AYAP results must be reported separately for each group of students identified above so that it can be determined whether each student group met the AYAP objective. 6. At least 95% of each group must participate in state assessments. Lastly, the state must aggregate up to 3 years of data in making AYAP determinations. We will talk about the advantages of the No Child Left Behind law. First, it added structure to educational program nationwide. Second, it held teachers and administrators accountable for student performance. Third, socioeconomic gaps had less influence with this legislation. Fourth, teacher qualifications were emphasized during NCLB. Fifth, resource identification became easier. Sixth, it gave parents a better understanding of their schooling options. 7. Minority students could provide an equal contribution. 8. It improved student test scores. 9. Schools were required to report their data. Talking about disadvantages of the No Child Left Behind, first, many schools tied student performance to teacher salaries. Second, the best students in a classroom were often ignored. Third, the students with the worst grades in a classroom were often discarded. And it created teachers' shortage in many communities. The smart children do not always perform well on standardized tests. And six, it changed the goal of learning. 7, the structure of NCLB was more about money than student learning. Number 8, teachers could be involuntarily transferred. 9, it never really addressed the core issue behind poor student learning. Last, school funding was driven into test-related subjects. Although the No Child Left Behind Act has been removed in favor of the Every Student Succeeds Act, there are still grandfather consequences built into many schools districts around the country. By understanding the structure of the U.S. laws regarding education, the advantages can be emphasized and the disadvantages minimized. And that will allow these generations to students to hopefully achieve their full potential. In the Philippines, there is a law introduced by Senator Manny Villar, and it is an act ensuring the full realization of the constitutional right of all citizens to quality education, ordaining for the purposes. And it is called a No Filipino Child Left Behind Act of 2010. It is a declared policy of the state to protect and promote the right of all citizens to quality education and to take appropriate steps to make such education accessible to all. Towards this end, the state shall provide the necessary framework and resources for the implementation of education programs, projects, and services. Encouraging local initiatives for the improvement of schools and community based on learning facilities. The law promotes compulsory education and provide only for limited special circumstances when children of compulsory school age would not be required to attend schools. The law also provides a system for the monitoring of children of compulsory school age and ensuring that they enjoy the benefit of having the opportunity to be educated. It also ensures the schools and other facility of learning are able to reflect the values of the community, and by allowing the teachers, learning facilitator, and the other staff to have flexibility and service the ends of the learner. By the year 2014, all Filipino children of compulsory age must have completed elementary education, and by the year 2018, all Filipinos must have obtained and completed high school education. Thank you for watching and listening. Hope you enjoy and God bless. And this is, once again, this is Gentifi Tambuboy. Good day and have fun. Thank you.